Hi, folks. This is Lee Gettess with the Market Sense for the week of February 7th, 2012, and I call it Market Sense, but some weeks are a lot easier to make sense of than others. The charts we use come from the Trade Navigator software by Genesis Financial Technologies, and the first chart we'll look at is our weekly bond chart. And if this was a daily chart or even an intraday chart, this would look like a really tight sideways pattern here. Because it's a weekly, it's not tight at all. These ranges are pretty substantial, and there's plenty of volatility in the market. But they really haven't gone anywhere since, like the fall of 2011. So sideways moves like this tend to precede some sort of big move in one direction or another, and the direction really isn't particular, but a big up or big down is probably coming sometime relatively soon, just not necessarily this week. Initially, we're looking at 141.16 down here below the market and 144.26 above as the first barriers or initial barriers to go through. But because of the way this has swung over the last few months, man, we've got 146.11 in this area and even back to 146.27 up here that would both need to be exceeded before we can have a serious breakout to the upside. And the downside is perhaps even more muddy. We're looking at 140.20 at this swing low, 139.24 back here, and really as far down as 135 back here, because when they made this move down, virtually everything since then has been contained within this range here. This was about a 6-week range, and everything since then has been within that. So again, all of this indicates that some big move will be coming at some point, but all we know is the longer they stay sideways, the bigger the move will be. Doesn't mean they have to move out right now. So it's even though the volatility is high, they're kind of tightly bound up, and it's pretty difficult to pick a direction out of that. Now, moving into stocks, nothing sideways about this. This is an Escalator or a Led Zeppelin song, Stairway to Heaven, right? There's so little volatility. Last week was the first sizable weekly range we've had in quite some time. And this week we've got support down at 1328 area, the red line, and resistance up around 1355. And so far we're not really going to hit either of those. It's good chance we might, but I hate to fight against momentum like this because you can see the angle of ascent is very steep. But it just seems like they're running on fumes, and they're running into resistance back from these old swing highs back here in the middle of 2011. They could take these out. They could go up here. This purple line above price here is at the 1370 area. The problem is they're getting up there so slowly that this line will turn and continue up. So it's hard to guess where that might be if they do get up there. That is a possibility, though. They could accelerate up and finally run out of gas somewhere in there. But they're kind of on fumes here, and it wouldn't surprise me if they actually just turn down out of neglect, because volume and volatility, but particularly volume, has been so small. I mean, it's not like there's a ton of people buying these. It's just that there's nobody selling them. It's very quiet. If they do decide to roll over, they'd really need to get below 1295 before it looked like anything you'd really call weakness. Until then, it's just kind of hard to argue with, right? They're going up until further notice, and I really don't want to buy them up here. Just waiting to see if they either accelerate or show signs of rolling over. So that's what we've got for you today. I hope you can find something profitable to get yourself into. Thanks for checking in with us, and hopefully we'll have something better next week.